For every loved YouTuber rivalry, there's a hated one that goes way too far. Starting with KSI and Dan TDM, whose one-sided beef led to one of the most humiliating showdowns in YouTube history. Back in October 2024, YouTube giants KSI, Logan Paul, and Mr. Beast would announce the launch of Lunchly, a healthier food alternative for kids.
Lunchly versus Lunchables.
With Lunchly, you get double the amount of liquid.
Prime has no sugar added, more electrolytes, and more B vitamins.
Crunch Bar. Feastables Crunch Bar.
Yeah!
And with 3 of the biggest creators on YouTube backing the brand, it seemed nothing could go wrong. However, not long after, one of YouTube's most loved creators, Dan TDM, would release a tweet calling them out. What happened to YouTubers, man? I can't say anything anymore. This is selling stuff for the sake of making money. Simple. How does this benefit their fans? This is selling crap to kids who don't know better than to trust the people who are selling it to them. Since Dan is one of the most respected creators online, the post instantly caught the attention of many fans who immediately took his side. Selling energy drinks to kids is crazy. They probably taste absolutely awful too. And with this wave of backlash piling up, it didn't take long for KSI to fire back with a tweet accusing Dan of once advertising toys to his young fans. Looks like crap to me. However, this had zero impact, and as the criticism snowballed across social media, in September 2024, KSI would issue a public apology.
A lot's happened these past few days, and I've had a lot of time to reflect and really understand everything that's happened and all of my actions. And
But this only turned out to be a huge joke.
I want to say sorry. I can't do it. Hey yo, drink Prime and eat Lunchly, motherfucker.
And although this was funny for JJ at the time, things got way worse for him as a new wave of backlash from the internet started calling him out. We aren't laughing with you, JJ, we are laughing at you. I thought he matured up, then I remembered he was KSI. Eventually, this led him to have a full-blown meltdown during one of his videos.
But I wasn't the one complaining! I'm just replying to Dan! Am I not allowed to reply to Dan? He came at me!
But despite this, the internet once again would call him out for his immaturity. A single tweet by a Minecraft YouTuber broke his ego. Let that sink in. Bro was in a 3v1 and still lost. Bro's ego is bigger than his forehead. In the end, KSI ended up making a huge fool of himself with the entire internet siding with Dan, leaving it as one of the most controversial rivalries on YouTube, a sharp contrast to the rivalry between YouTube giants PewDiePie and T-Series, which became one of the most iconic periods on the platform. Back in August 2018, PewDiePie would deviate from his usual style of content to reveal that another YouTube channel, T-Series, was threatening to dethrone him from the ¡1 spot on YouTube.
That's right, in no less than in November this year, PewDiePie will not be the biggest channel on YouTube. That would be pretty nice, actually. No! We must fight back! Who is this T-Series channel?
However, PewDiePie wasn't going to let his crown slip away without a fight, as just a month later, he dropped his infamous diss track, Lasagna.
Lasagna! Lasagna! T-Series ain't nothing but a
The diss track became a massive hit, amassing over 326 million views, and with this huge support from fans, even some of YouTube's biggest creators couldn't resist joining in.
I bought a bunch of billboards.
Dude, we got the double billboard. We don't mess around.
Went on TV. Grab your phone, go on YouTube, search PewDiePie, and subscribe to us. Bought bathroom ads. There's our ad. Right above the urinal. And much more to try and stop T-Series from passing PewDiePie in subscribers.
Every single one of us needs to fight harder than we've ever fought before.
But even with the wave of support, it wasn't enough for Felix to hold off T-Series, as after weeks of back and forth, T-Series finally claimed the #1 spot. However, PewDiePie was still not one to go down quietly, as on March 31st, 2019, he would respond to his loss by releasing a song titled Congratulations, which has since garnered over 238 million views.
Hey, congratulations to your corporation. Guess you be one Swedish boy, you need a billion nations. Yeah, you did it very nice, and all it took was a massive corporate entity with every song in Bollywood.
Leaving this rivalry as one of the most iconic on YouTube, Felix's son has one of the craziest dad lores ever, leaving a comment to prove that I was alive to see this war. But while this rivalry goes down as one of the most loved, the exact opposite can be said about the rivalry between YouTuber Schlepp and massive multi-million-dollar company Roblox. In August 2025, young Roblox PDF catcher Schlepp would spark a storm across social media after revealing that Roblox was threatening to sue him for exposing PDF files on the platform.
The Roblox Corporation has sent a cease and desist letter to me, a 22-year-old, versus a multi-billion-dollar company, threats of litigation, because I catch predators. Every account that I've owned on Roblox since I was 8 years old has been terminated.
And since the popular platform was predominantly used by children, this immediately earned him widespread support across social media. I always knew Roblox had a dark side. However, choosing money over saving kids is just insane. The audacity of Roblox to ban Schlepp after he's helping kids is nuts. But it wasn't just fans that thought the same way, as on August 15th, one of Roblox's biggest creators would make a decision no one saw coming.
Roblox is so detached from reality. I feel like it's got to be done at this point. I'm leaving the STAR program. I'm out. I'm done.
Even another influential YouTuber would add his voice to the backlash.
Dial in and f***ing call in like the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs in order to try and wipe out people like Schlepp that try and stop the p***ers themselves. So instead of stopping the p***ers, Roblox stops the people stopping the p***ers. It's really backwards, if you ask me. That doesn't make any sense.
And just when it seemed the controversy couldn't get any bigger, in August 2025, the #1 PDF catcher on the internet, Chris Hansen, would come out of retirement to join the fight.
You may have heard that my streaming crime network, True Blue, and I are investigating the exploitation of children on the popular gaming platform Roblox. Well, it's absolutely true, and we're deep into it.
Following this, Roblox would immediately ban all the inappropriate games on its platform. However, this wouldn't matter as the company was still too tied up in protecting its image. This became clear on August 16th, 2025, when the Roblox chief executives hosted a meeting addressing the issues. But instead of addressing the PDF problem, they would shockingly push the blame on the creators who were fighting hard to bring justice to the real problem.
They would go and create accounts on Roblox claiming to be a child. And then they would enter into game servers and they would go and start asking everybody around them, how old are you? And they were seeking out adults. If you said that you were 12 or you said you were 7, they would just move on. But if you said that you were 25, then they would start engaging in conversations.
This unwillingness to address the real issue has ultimately led the platform to lose over $12 billion in just 10 days. And to make things worse for Roblox, in September 2025, Schlepp delivered another blow after posting. I now have my first criminal conviction of a Roblox predator. Meanwhile, Roblox claims I'm taking the law into my own hands, earning him widespread support from all corners of the internet. Everyone's on your side, homie. My children and I are very proud of you. We keep fighting because so many are not and sadly do not care. Thank you for everything. But while Schlepp continues to fight for justice against an evil corporation, rage baiter that vegan teacher would end up humiliating herself after picking a fight with Gordon Ramsay. On January 20th, 2021, that vegan teacher would call out one of the most distinguished chefs in the world, Gordon Ramsay, for not understanding the concept of veganism.
So Gordon, one of the problems that I noticed that you have is you don't seem to understand the difference between food and animals, like chickens and cows, sheep, pigs. You know, these things are not actually foods.
But Gordon only stayed silent, forcing her to come for him in March 2021 by referring to him as the devil.
Hello, students. Today we're going to talk about the devil. The devil's name is Gordon Ramsay.
But she didn't stop there, as she soon uploaded another video which took things way too far.
So why is Gordon Ramsay such a terrible father? Why does he teach his children speciesism, which is the purest form of racism? Racism is wrong. Homophobia is wrong. Ageism is wrong. Ableism is wrong. Why does Gordon Ramsay teach that ableism is okay?
Faced with the barrage of accusations and personal attacks, just days later, Gordon finally broke his silence after she posted her now infamous song about him.
Eating animals is wrong, Gordon Ramsay. Hurting animals is wrong, Gordon Ramsay. Share this song, and if you call me a donut, that's fine.
Vegan
as long
donut.
As you're vegan from now on.
Clearly insulted by his jokes, in July 2021, that vegan teacher wouldn't back down just yet as she tried to make Gordon lose one of his sponsors.
Hello, Silk Milk. Apparently you're paying money to Gordon Ramsay to promote your product? How crazy is that? Don't be doing that. He doesn't care about your milk. He's not even vegan. He pays people to rape, torture, and animals. Why would you want him to promote this wonderful product that I drink myself every day?
But rather than stoop to insults this time, Gordon uploaded a video where a group of farmers could be heard thanking him for keeping their businesses alive after sticking up for the meat industry.
Thank you, Chef Ramsay.
Thank you, Chef Ramsay.
Thanks, Chef Ramsay.
Thank you so much for standing up for us farmers. I really appreciate it, Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay, if you're looking at this, what's happening, Big Cheese? Thank you very much for saying what you said.
As you'd expect, the internet immediately took Gordon's side. Ironic how she is such a vegan supporter, yet she starts beef with Gordon. She's literally the personification of the phrase, "There's no such thing as bad publicity." In the end, Gordon's popularity took a major boost, while that vegan teacher's credibility has since taken a hit, where she is now referred to as one of the most hated rage baiters on the internet. But unlike that vegan teacher, whose feud with Gordon Ramsay ended in her complete humiliation, the rivalry between Minecraft YouTubers Dream and Tommy Innit would lead to the complete breakdown of their friendship. In December 2024, during an episode of his show, Shut Up, I'm Talking, Tommy Innit would be asked to reveal the worst YouTuber he met in 2024.
Oh, the worst person I met award? Oh, for me, it's so easy. Go on, Mizgif.
But Mizgif wasn't about to let that slide as he fired back at Tommy just days later.
When I was talking to Tommy Innit, he was probably one of the most insufferable people that I've ever talked to in my fucking life. When I was sitting there waiting for Masayoshi to pop up, Tommy Innit is just standing there like a complete prick and looking like such a jack. I'm trying to just sit there and wait for Masayoshi. I say hello to him, and he gives me the rudest stare you could ever imagine.
In response to the beef between the two popular streamer, XQC would then add his own opinion on the matter.
Okay. Well, these guys are all cringe, sorry.
But what really became concerning was when Tommy's ex-friend Dream would then react to XQC's opinions by posting an image where he shockingly called Tommy Innit's fans the R-word slur, forcing Tommy to fire back at him the very next day.
Let's just dive right in, shall we? Let's talk about you calling all my fans the R-slur. You can't throw around the R-slur, mate. You just can't. My mum worked with adults with disabilities, and since I was 12, I volunteered with her. These are real amazing people who I think of like family, who actually get called this slur. And you do not just throw it around. It's impossibly immature and reckless and sets such a shitty precedent to everyone. Shame on you, man.
With Tommy and his fans putting him on blast, Dream would eventually apologize to Tommy's fans just 2 days later.
I posted a meme on Twitter that used the R word, and I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry, genuinely. I think it's important to acknowledge right off the bat that that's not right. That's not how you should behave. I shouldn't have done it, period.
But despite this apology, Dream would then go on to accuse Tommy of underpaid labor.
Because at one point he had a literal editor sweatshop where his editors made less than minimum wage and were also getting fans to edit the videos for free for them. But to each their own. Everyone has a different style of YouTube.
However, this claim was immediately shut down as just days later, some of Tommy's previous editors stepped forward, accusing Dream of twisting the truth. As someone that has done subtitling work for Tommy Innit, I was paid well above what the majority of YouTubers ask for something similar. This is just false. Defo not speaking for the other Tommy editors, but I want to clarify as someone that edited for him for a while, he paid me well and treated me with only kindness and respect. Following this, with the real truth now out in the open, it wasn't long before the internet instantly came for Dream. I don't think I've ever seen a single clip of Dream being nice. It's always well without me, or I'm better. This is exactly how I expected Dream to be behind the scenes. How is this a surprise to anyone at all? In the end, their friendship was completely broken, and what was once known as one of Dream SMP's most iconic duos quickly became two distant strangers. But while Dream and Tommy Innit's feud remains unsolved, the next beef between Sunny V2 and Mr. Beast would bring a shocking prediction to light. In April 2023, Sunny V2 would release a controversial video explaining how Chris Tyson's gender change would impact Mr. Beast.
Jimmy has no option but to publicly express acceptance of Chris's transition, as silence or even worse, disapproval would come with obvious severe repercussions. However, in accepting Chris's transition, Jimmy implies that this will be the new normal within the content, thus annoying a different group of people, many of whom will never express their their true feelings and may rather simply click on fewer MrBeast videos. If this is the case, Jimmy has no option but to accept this fate, as removing Chris from the videos in any kind of way could create an even more severe media firestorm.
Since the video was seen as an attack on the LGBT community, this generated a wave of backlash. Sonny literally called and treated Chris like a character. It's disgusting that someone would defame and hate a person simply because that person is choosing to change their body to be happier about themselves. But this was only the beginning of the backlash, as just hours later, MrBeast himself released a tweet reading, "Yeah, this is getting absurd. Chris isn't my nightmare. He's my fucking friend and things are fine. All this transphobia is starting to piss me off." But it wasn't just MrBeast that had things to say.
Absolute psychopathic behavior, bro. Have some shame and decency before you fucking put out a video like this. You don't even fucking know this person, dude. You fucking parasocial freak lord. What the f?
I don't get it at all. This whole video, I mean, you could have just said, hey, I'm outwardly transphobic and I feel like I don't like when people take HRT, and it would have been more honest.
However, despite all this hate, Sonny would stay silent and refuse to address the situation with the entire internet against him. But this would all change in 2024, when Chris would then be accused of shockingly sending messages to an underage fan and meeting up with the person. Now with Chris facing the weight of public scrutiny, on July 23rd, 2024, he would then issue an apology. "I would like to apologize for any of my past behavior or comments if it hurt or offended anyone. It was not my intent. Seeing recent events, we've mutually decided it's best I permanently step away from all things MrBeast and social media to focus on my family and mental health." In response, MrBeast would then realize his mistake and release a statement of his own, attempting to distance himself from the fallout. Over the last few days, I've become aware of the serious allegations of Ava Tyson's behavior online, and I am disgusted and opposed to such unacceptable acts. During that time, I have been focused on hiring an independent third party to conduct a thorough investigation to ensure I have all the facts. That said, I've seen enough online and taken immediate action to remove Ava from the company, my channel, and any association with MrBeast. I do not condone or support any of the inappropriate actions. Following this, with Sonny now finally vindicated, the internet immediately changed back to his side. This man never apologized, never replied to him getting canceled, and got the last laugh in the end. Sonny right now, they called me a madman. This aged like fine wine, but while Sonny and MrBeast's rivalry led to one of the best predictions on YouTube, Neon and Jack Doherty's rivalry would lead to something a lot more physical. Back in June 2024, two of the most hated creators on the internet, Jack Doherty and Neon, would get into a fight during a boxing match in Florida.
What do you get out of that, bro? I didn't. What is your boy? What do you get out of that, bro? Get out of my face. Get out of that.
But just when it seemed the situation had finally cooled down, Jack would suddenly jump Neon as he was leaving the venue.
I need my shit.
No!
But this childish behavior was only the beginning of their rivalry, as the real blow came when Neon later turned the tables, accusing Jack of signing drunk underage girls to his OF agency.
I will be taking that money. I will be taking that money, and I will be exposing you for getting drunk underage girls on yachts and taking percentages of them. You will be going down, my brother. You will be going down.
The accusations immediately spread across the internet, where Jack quickly fired back with a tweet reading, "Bro talking about trying to sue me. This is the second time you say this lie defaming my name when you know it's not true. Two can play at that game, bro. The first time you apologized to me, you got nothing to actually say about me, so you spread lies. You know nothing about me." But despite Jack's defense, evidence would surface that Neon was actually right and that he had attempted to sign a then 17-year-old Piper Rochelle to his agency.
I'm good, man. I don't need anything. Oh, yeah. Again. Wait, what? Again.
Now with this new evidence piling up, Jack would then attempt to justify his actions.
I hate that I even have to explain myself on it, but I'm younger than basically every girl I have signed except for like one. And that girl signed 4 months after her 18th birthday.
But with his reputation already as one of the most hated creators on the platform, as you can imagine, no one took his side. The fact this kid wasn't locked up years ago still blows my mind. The guy is a classic case study of narcissism and main character syndrome. But unlike Neon and Jack's beef, which brought a disturbing secret to light, Penguin Zero and Sneako's beef would lead to one of the most infamous takedowns in YouTube history. On November 8th, 2022, Sneako would come after Penguin Zero and his girlfriend Tiana. Atlanta after he called out the Fresh and Fit podcast.
This is his girl.
But Charlie wasn't about to stay silent, as on November 26th, he addressed the comments head on.
What the f are you even talking about? What does this have to do with anything? What does bringing up a picture of me and my girlfriend have anything to do with anything that has happened?
But just before the 12-minute video came to an end, Charlie would call out Sneako on his disturbing relationship dynamic.
You have watched your girl get f***ed in front of you on at least 2 occasions that he talks about here. And you were right next to her, watching her get f***ed, and one time you were so upset about it you had to leave the room after the 3rd pump, you said. You're clearly not really alright.
The back and forth between the two would continue until March 2023, when Sneako would kick things up a notch by threatening Charlie with a gun.
You wanna watch my clips? Watch my clips. Watch my clips. You want me to watch your clips? Watch my clips. These are the only clips I'm watching, you were?
Eventually leading Charlie to school him in his now infamous video.
But he's a f***ing imbecile, you absolute buffoon. What you have there is not clips. These are mags. They're mags, not clips, you absolute f***ing dummy. The same way that this is also a mag. They're all mags. Stop saying clips, you look stupid here.
Seeing Charlie casually pull out 2 guns to lecture Sneako over gun anatomy while wearing a bathrobe is perfection. Following this, Sneako had no choice but to publicly apologize.
And I apologize to Moist Critical for showing a picture on stream of you and your girlfriend. That was not very Christ-like. I'm sorry.
But by then, the damage had already been done. Sneako isn't a clown, not even a circus. He's the literal definition of slapstick comedy. Sneako is the type of guy to open a glass door to check on what's on the other side. At the end of the day, when the drama dies down, it's not really about who won or lost. It's about how people remember them. A bit like these OG creators, whose legacy was either remembered as loved or hated. Click the video on screen now to see the most loved versus most hated OG creators.